first free agent quarterback domino has officially fallen. What is going on, y'all? Five Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NFL, here to talk to you guys about the breaking news of Case Keenum agreeing to sign with the Denver Broncos. Now, of course, free agency doesn't officially open up until Wednesday, but we all know that when these, sort of breaking news comes out, that means that the teams and then the players have agreed to terms here. So Case Keenum, barring any late setback, and now we have to title it barring any Josh McDaniels type of move, if you will, he will sign with the Denver Broncos, okay? So here to break down what this signing means, why Case Keenum, I believe, signed with the Broncos, and what ultimately ends up happening with the biggest domino piece, which is, of course, one Kirk Cousins. So let's get into all of that right now. Now, of course, the terms of the deal have also not come out yet because, like I said, nothing is official. But would I be surprised if big money is thrown at Case Keenum? Absolutely not, especially after the season he had last year. Something like 3,500 passing yards, a plus, 22 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, just 7. And, of course, he took them to the NFC Championship game, them being the Minnesota Vikings, who are now moving on from Case Keenum. Now, of course, you might be like, why are the Vikings moving on from Case Keenum? Well, because they're in the Kirk Cousins sweepstakes, which I will get to just in a second. But with that being said, the reason I believe Case Keenum is signing with the Broncos is, one, because the Broncos, of course, are expressing interest in him. And really, this is more with the Broncos than it is with Case Keenum, because obviously there's still a lot of teams that need quarterbacks out there. But this is so John Elway. This is so Denver, with them rotating and getting another free agent quarterback to sort of put a Band-Aid on their issue here. Now, do I think this stops them from drafting a quarterback? Hopefully not. They should still take a quarterback in the draft, because as much as I like Case Keenum, he is 30 years old. I don't believe he is the future. He can definitely be a bridge quarterback, and he's definitely one of the better, or I could even say the best bridge quarterback that you can find. But with that being said, you have to look at the fact that you are still trying to build for the future. And when you have guys like a Case Keenum, well, obviously he's going to be taking over the starting quarterback spot over the guys like Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch, and Brock Osweiler, who are just absolutely awful. But when you have a guy like a Case Keenum, you have to do what the Vikings did with him, which is surround him with elite level talent. And this is one thing that Denver and John Elway know how to do. Yes, they won a Super Bowl with Peyton Manning, but the reason I'm putting Peyton Manning in air quotes is because Peyton Manning was not the Peyton Manning we know when he won that Super Bowl. It was that defense, it was that running game, and it was everything surrounding Peyton, okay? And that's no knock on Peyton Manning. He was on his last legs, but he still absolutely made big throws on that Super Bowl run. But we all know that defense won that Super Bowl. There's a reason Von Miller was named Super Bowl MVP of Super Bowl 50 when they won it. So if John Elway is able to work his magic again, and I'm not saying Case Keenum is Peyton Manning, but comparing Case Keenum to that Peyton Manning, yeah, it's comparable. You can make that argument. And if John Elway is able to do that with Case Keenum, then he's got a shot here of trying to recreate that magic. So what does that mean? That means that the Broncos need to do what the Vikings did and surround Case Keenum with elite level talent around him, okay? They need to shore up their offensive line. That definitely needs to improve. They need a new left tackle. They need to shore up a little bit on the defense. They need a new inside linebacker. They lost Aqib Talib in free agency. So you definitely need to have the pieces around him. We don't know what's going to happen with C.J. Anderson, but I'm not the biggest C.J. Anderson fan. He's been very inconsistent the past couple of seasons, so we don't know what we're getting from him there. I've read reports they might trade him or they might keep him, but they definitely need to, one way or another, whether it is through free agency or whether it is through the draft, make sure that you are surrounding Case Keenum with the necessary talent. And like I mentioned before, I don't think this necessarily should stop them from drafting a quarterback. They have the number 5 overall pick in this year's draft. They can definitely use Case Keenum as a bridge quarterback, and he is definitely one of the better ones, if not the best bridge quarterback you can possibly have out there, if you will. So definitely don't hate this move for the Denver Broncos. The only thing is, I do want to see the contract length here. If it is 1 or 2 years, I like this move. If it is a little bit more than that, 3+ years, I'm not a big fan of that because, like I said, as much as I like Case Keenum and as good of a season as he had last year, there's a reason the Vikings did not decide to keep him, okay? One, because obviously they don't want to pay him, and because obviously he's not their future. There's another guy that they think is their future, which is Kirk Cousins, which I want to talk about right now real quick. I do believe the Denver Broncos and John Elway pretty much thought that Kirk Cousins was not a realistic opportunity for them, and the reason I say that is because I've been driving the Kirk Cousins to Minnesota bandwagon the entire offseason, folks. I think it is a 90 to 95% chance it happens. Look, would I be surprised if it doesn't? Yes, I would be very shocked because, like I said, now we're down to the Vikings, we're down to the Jets, and we are down to the Cardinals, though I don't think the Cardinals really are a competition here. But the Jets are the only team that could throw a wrench in the plan here. They could bring a limo full of money or a truck full of money to Kirk Cousins and just entice him that way. But ultimately, this tells me that the Broncos never thought they had a legitimate chance at Kirk Cousins. I'm sorry, Von Miller. I know you were rooting for Kirk Cousins to come to the Broncos, but it's not going to happen now. They get Case Keenum. So that is why I believe they decided to move quickly, because free agency is going to dry up and might as well get somebody instead of adding nobody, because obviously quarterback was a big need for the Broncos, who had a horrible season last year. Trevor Siemian's not the answer. Paxton Lynch doesn't look like he's the answer. Brock Osweiler sure as hell not the answer. Shaking my damn head. So I don't think that the Broncos knew exactly if Kirk Cousins was coming, but they had a strong inclination, and so they definitely wanted to move on from him. So overall, do I like this move? I think it's okay. I really want to see the years on the deal for Case Keenum before I make my final sort of analysis on it. But like I said, if it is short term, I'm a fan of this move. If it is not short term, if it's long term, I'm not really a fan of this move. So that's how I look at it right now. They do have Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders. They have some weapons like for Case Keenum to throw to. Like I said, we need to see what happens with the running game. But overall, Case Keenum will only succeed if you put the talent around him like Minnesota did. So John Elway and the Denver Broncos need to go ahead and do that. I still like other teams in this division more than the Broncos. Let's see what happens in free agency and the draft. But with that being said, those are my thoughts, folks. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys comment down below your thoughts on this move, and follow me for all of the latest free agency news that is going to be coming out over the next couple of days. So you guys are not going to want to miss out on that. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you guys are turned on post notifications so you guys don't miss any videos. Make sure you guys also follow me on my social media, links down below for that. As always, thanks for watching.